Hello. Hi. What's up? We are playing DVD tonight. The new Pinhead DLC came out, which I am super excited about. Miss Echo. There she is. I don't know too much about it, just because I have not, I didn't play him in the PTB. I downloaded it, and then I could not find a game. I waited forever. So today we're gonna be trying it out, and yeah, I'm sure it'll go well. I'll start it up here. Yeah, hope everybody's night's going well so far. Good Tuesday. Man. Also, Oh, Labor Day was yesterday. You guys did anything fun? It was really nice. I didn't do anything. I was working, but I was outside, you know, at work doing my stuff, and it was like in the mid to lower 80s, and it was so nice. I was just in the shade all day. I cannot complain. Cannot. Yeah. Let's see. Let me switch over here. Oh, here we go. There's a new cinematic. I haven't seen this. Ooh, spooky. Ah. There it is. The Hellraiser chapter. Good old Pinhead. Yeah, we got Pinhead. We're gonna be trying him out. I went ahead and put some levels into him already, some blood points into him, leveled him up a little bit. And there's some new music and a little bit of a new screen as well. So that's very, very exciting. We can go ahead and load on in here. Oof. I am tired though from yesterday. Oof, wore me out. I worked a double. I usually don't do. Hello, Lud. Hi, Dayton. How's it going? Welcome. Yeehaw indeed. What is going on? What'd you do yesterday, Dayton? Lud? Do anything fun for Labor Day? Let's see. News. There we go. Patch notes. That's what I was wanting to read. Okay. I was going to take a look at some of these. Yesterday was just a chill day for you. You played League and Valorant. Lost. Oh, no. Rip to your rank. Oof. I believe in you. You got this. Let's see. Match results. Oh yes, so they updated the ranking in here, which is weird. So there's Ash, Bronze, Silver, Gold, and Iridescent, which is they're just changing the names around. But there is a new, like, what they say, a little right here, subgrouping of like 1 to 4. It's interesting. Pinhead disconnected on your last match. Why? Were you bullying him? Man. If so, nice. Blood point rewards are given out based blah 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 blah. Interesting. It is no longer possible to lose enough pips to lose a grade. Huh. That's very interesting. So we got some Nemesis stuff. What else? They disabled. Oh, Blood Lodge and the game maps are re-enabled, but RPD and something else is disabled. The saloon map, I think. Oh man. They had 1 kill and 2 teammates down. You were solving their lament and noticed it wasn't finishing fully. Ah, I gotcha. Also, this right here. He does not say that he came anymore. Hi, Kia. We're going over the new stuff. What'd you do yesterday, Kia? I got a bev. It's a bev day. Okay. Interesting. You played D&D. How did it go? I'm sure it was a fun time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, well, we'll figure the rest of it out. And here he is. I did, however, it went well, super fun. I'm glad to hear that. I feel like it'd be really cool to play some D&D. Okay, oh, I think, so gold, and then you still have to pip, and then you go up or down? Like, is it 4 is the highest or 1 is the highest? I'm a little confused. You know, no, we'll figure it out, because this just happened. Yeah, you're playing a necromancer posing as a cleric. I don't know what a cleric does. I'm still new to some of this, but necromancer sounds like it would be a fun time. Also, just to stay on theme, all of our little totems are cubes, because why not? Little kinky boy gets some cubes. And I just had enough little RXLs left over to get a different weapon. Cleric heals. It's like a priest. Oh, I got you. So he's a liar. No, just kidding. Little belly button piercing, if you call it that. Okay, he's got some skins that just came out too. It's interesting. I got the hook from this skin. Back is pretty cool. Then there's this one, which just reminds me of American Horror Story with the leather suit. I don't know why. Yeah. Like paladins or warlocks. Ooh. Do you play D&D with Trent at all, or is he not too much into it? I think we can go ahead and play this guy as well. We can see what he does. After a generator is repaired, entity blocks the generator with the most progress for 20 seconds. You can see its aura during this time. Okay. He doesn't get into that kind of stuff a lot. I gotcha. Yeah, this is the new killer, Pinhead. You know, if he's very interesting, little backstory to him, but he seems kind of fun, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of broken stuff in the game because that's how DVD works. Pinhead Larry, yes, 100%. First time you hook a survivor, they become cursed, and Hex Plaything activates on adult totem. The cursed survivor suffers from oblivious status effect until Hex Plaything is cleansed. Oh my. It's revealed to the cursed survivor within 24 meters for the first 90 seconds, and only they can cleanse it. That seems a little interesting. Okay. At the start of the trial, up to 4 random hooks are changed into scourge hooks. Oh, I saw this. You see their auras and right. When a survivor is unhooked from a scourge hook, they suffer from the hemorrhage and mangled status effect. So kind of like Sloppy Butcher. Until fully healed. The first time survivor is healed, they suffer a 7% penalty to healing and repairing actions until injured again. Okay. And then he can send out a little chain for his ability. I think we'll just go ahead and get into it. I assume a lot of people are going to be playing today. Actually, I put these on earlier. I haven't played them yet, but we're going to change up. Decreases someone's pain's cooldown. We're going to do that. And then travel distance or turn rate, casting range. Do travel distance, because why not? I think we're good to go. Check them out. Yeah, what's everybody got going on tonight? What is happening? I'm kind of hungry, but what's new? Yeah. I think what we're going to do is we're going to play this guy for a little bit, figure out how the ranking system works now, and then we're going to go ahead and try out some Survivor later on, just to try and play against them, and, you know, just cuz. It's got a little flowy skirt at the bottom. So cute. You're getting ready for work right now, but you don't feel like it? Oh, man. That was Noah today. He was like, I got to go to work in like 10 minutes. He was not feeling it. I don't blame them. It's a nice day to not do anything and stay home. That is, that's my 2 cents on it. And plus oh, here, you know what we can do actually? We can get some extra blood points while we're waiting. This belly button bothers you. Yeah, let me just swing this stuff around real quick. There you go. No. I feel that too. It's kind of gross. I think it's just because of the way that it's like pierced on there. I'm just like, ugh. It's like pinched and pink. Belly buttons are very odd. You are 100% correct. And then there's like innie and outie belly buttons. People are weird, just all around. Just all around. I don't know what his stuff does. And all the maps I want to play on are disabled. So, woo! Oh, I also found this shirt in my closet because I hadn't worn it in a while, and it was hiding. So we're wearing a shirt that I forgot I had. It's got some flowers on it, and it's real cute. Man, I'm real bad about that. Like, I'll just like, something will eventually find its way to the back of the closet behind some other clothes, and I will forget about it. And then that's that for a couple months. What we got? Well, we've done what we can. It goes kicking shit off the thing over there. Oh, here's the cats. You can't see Flash, but he's laying down over there in that chair. We have Annie in the little swing chair. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Like I said, I'm a little tired. And then we got Echo. A whole bunch of cuties. When that happens, it's like getting a new shirt. No, it honestly is. It really is. I could have worn this so much, but I forgot I had it. Man, I'm hoping I wake up after playing a couple games, you know? If we can even get into a game. Matchmaking is usually never this long early in the day. Oh well. Not much else has happened since I last streamed Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday. I worked all day yesterday, then I came home and went to sleep. But yeah. I think the plan for, I already told the plan for today, and the plan for Thursday is we're going to be playing a short little spooky game, and then we're going to be playing some Phasmo with some pals, and you know, keeping the spooks going. It's just going to be one of those nights. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that quite a bit, especially since the new Phasmo update is supposed to be spooky, and they added a whole bunch of stuff to it. Oh, we found a game. Potato aim. Me too. I'm ready. Oh, so many flashlights. Oh my lord. I don't have Franklin's. I have all of the all of the Pinhead perks, or Cenobite. Whatever you want to call them. Is whatever you would like. So, blocks generator progress after a generator's repaired. Oblivious until they cleanse. And then healing penalty. And they're mangled and hemorrhaging. And then we got overcharge because why not? Let's overcharge some generators. Excuse me. Oh, we got some eye patch ace. Ooh. I'm just happy that they only have one flashlight. Oh shit. Oh shoot. All the extra chests. Man. Well, never mind. They're probably gonna get another flashlight. It's okay. They're like, don't you worry. We'll get another one. No need to fret. Oh man. Let's see how it goes. I haven't played Pinhead at all. So this is my first game. I expect very, very iffy results. But the music sounds cool for him, and it's just you know, it's new stuff. All right, let's go. Let's go. That's me, also me talking to myself right now to wake up. I was like in and out of a nap a little bit before this too, kind of unintentionally. I don't know why. I was just like, I laid down and my body was like, you know what? I think you need to sleep right now. I did not want to sleep then. So it's like one of those like kind of naps, but not really. And it wasn't really that restful. A bunch of bull. Or something like that. Oh my god. Why am I yawning? So many yawns. All right, Lud said he had a Pinhead DC on his last match, so let's, as long as we don't DC, I feel like we're doing all right. Oh, they re-enabled the game and said, you know what? You're going here. Okay, I see how it is. That's pretty sensitive to like turning and stuff, so we got to be careful. And that'll kind of you hit them and we'll get little chains. Hello, Swayze. We are playing as Pinhead Larry. Thank you. I have like a horizontal cam that's basically the same thing, and this one is just turned. Oh, they're over here. Hello. Have you played the new update yet? This is my first time playing. What the hell? What just happened? I'm so confused on what just happened. Anyways, how's your night going as well? We were talking about what we were doing over the Labor Day. Okay, not that long a reach. You gotta keep that in mind. Might take a couple games to really get kind of comfortable with them. This music is really cool though. Woo. Am I doing something wrong here? Ooh, the pickup animation. Jeez, we got a bougie boy here. We're just gonna break this down. I love how he uses his chains to break stuff too. So good. And is that a scourge hook? Yes. Okay. And there's the hex totem. Where'd our... There's our pal. Hey, Dwight. Don't have any of the DLC chapters yet. Ah. What the hell? Oh my god. I gotta turn my sensitivity down on my mouse. Just getting into DBD. Well, it is quite a fun time. It's definitely not a perfect game by any means, but it's definitely a really fun game. And there we go. The problem earlier is we were clicking left click as well, and we just have to let our right click go. Oh shit. I gotta remember, he doesn't have that long. Oh, they were opening my box. And he no longer says that he came. That is so sad. The saddest. They took out the voice line. Well, everybody's a newbie at some point. I know I'm definitely... Right now, I'm the newbie as well. Because because I don't know. I don't really know that much about this guy. Everybody's, you know, been playing him in the PBE and stuff. And I did not play him once. I almost played him and then I just never got the chance. Okay, let's go downstairs. It'll buy us some time as we break the pallet. Ooh. Oh. Let's kick it. All right, all right. I'm still waking up right now too. I've said it like 10 times already, but oh. Oh, juked. You juked me. Here we go. Open in the box. Open in the box. Oh my god, no, the queue times are terrible. Excuse me? He doesn't like lunge at all. He just kind of stands in place. Aw. Good one, Ace. That was pretty good teamwork, dude. Oh my god, are there pallets anywhere on this map? I feel like we haven't run into any. Come on, pal. Yeah, it took us a good while to get into this game too. So I feel that. Oh my god. Hey, they got the totem. All right, one scourge hook. Squidge. Yeah, what other games do you usually play? Oh, we got a pal over here. Never mind. We're just gonna keep going. There they are. Okay. We found them. They went upstairs to grab their friend. Cute. His footsteps are so... Compared to the last killer that came out, like Nemesis, his footsteps are so dainty. Nemesis' footsteps sound like you're like dropping sandbags every time you walk. It's just... tick, tick, tick. Oh, there she is. Hey, girly. Break this. Oh, it buys some extra time. Really? I'm sorry. You were just there. Oh, Dwight. This is just like the worst timing. I keep running into you all over the place. I am so sorry. Man. We've been playing Bloodstained on Steam lately. Playing some Apex Legends right now. Kia was playing some Apex earlier. It looked like. Now she's heading off to work here soon. But I saw her playing a little bit of that. Just got called a bot. What were you doing? Were you doing bot things? I don't even know what that would be. Yeah, let's yeah, let's go. Where are you going? I don't want to go after Dwight again. I feel so bad because I already ran into him like twice. You got too good. Honestly, I believe it. Bloodheart. So good. Makes bot looks bad. Bots look bad? Hello, I've forgotten how to talk. Forgotten? Eh, one of those. Yeah, we're slacking a little bit with this guy, but it's okay. It'll give us a chance to see what the ranking system looks like for sure. Red rank chats are 100%. Honestly, like, red rank is very, very mean. A little toxic. It's like, chill. I'm just trying to have a good time and play the game. And they're like, no, 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 no. Die. And that's that. Oh, oh. Okay, I'm leaving you down. I keep thinking these guys are somebody else. Where's your pal at? Hey, somebody come get your friend Ace up. It's so quiet. Oh my god. Oh, his chains open up the locker too. Ooh. All right. Killer got 1K and said GG bots. That sounds like that's all the killer on there. Just get better. I'm sorry, dude. This is kind of toxic. It's just a little toxic. Oh, he's such a short aim. Okay, I'm actually gonna hook you now because I feel bad for slugging you so much. Yikes. Oh man. See that happening for the Jennies. Whoa. Here we go. No mess ups on the. Honestly, like, I feel like once you start playing for a while, gens is probably about as easy as it gets. Even with like doctor stuff, like I don't really mess up a gen unless I'm doing like I look off screen or I'm looking around the map or something like that. Just not paying attention. Where's our pal? Hey, oh, we got him. And that was the quickest anybody's ever got out. Holy hell. Dude. Dude. You. I want you. Nia. Hey, girl. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. No, I love the Pinhead chase music. It's so fucking good. She didn't even go this way. Big dumb move right there. No, not big dumb move. Big smart move. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it could look like bots if you do play a lot. Yeah, I'm honestly, I try not to play like this, but I also don't know what I'm doing right now. Like with his abilities and shit. And all of these people are just like, they're all so close together and like right next to each other all the time. Okay. We can get a hit out of this. Yeah, there we go. Hell yeah. Such a big brain that I thought I didn't even do a big brain move. And what am I doing? What am I doing? I just got here. Hello? Hello? We got some blood on the ground. Fresh blood? Hey, pal. You want to be hooked? I heard it. I heard you say so. And you're upstairs now. Okay. Fourth time getting the aim. No, they re-enabled it. And they're like, you're gonna go. This is my first game and I got the game. Like, literally, immediate. Okay, get out of here with the teabags. I could have killed you. Get out of here. We're being a little toxic. They did a good job. Really? Really? Somebody's over here? Damn, I missed. No, they have disabled all of the maps that I wanted to play on and re-enabled the ones that I don't. Oh my gosh. You just taunt killers and get people off hooks, honestly. It's gonna take me a second to figure out what all this fucking means. Like, I see colors and I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. Oh my god. You know, trying to do gens while streaming is a little difficult, especially when you're like trying to look over at chat and all that kind of stuff. It really is. Okay, let's put some of our music back on. And let's level him up a bit. Woo. Also, somebody came to fix my AC and they're like, oh, awesome. Didn't fix it. It's still broken. God. Every time you look at chat, a queue starts and you just lose it. Oh no. I feel that though. Like, yep. It's real bad. And eventually I'm just like, oh, what was that? Ooh. I'm not bringing any party streamers yet. We're just gonna go off of a little pudding. Whoa. I still like reverse hook and chain that was like, we put this on and it goes out, but like, I don't remember seeing it. Maybe I'm just like not paying attention. Maybe it's been there the whole time and I just like, I'm dumb. It's just evaded my perception. I literally have no freaking clue. All right, time to wait for, ooh, let's put a timer on and see how long it takes. I just opened my calendar by accident. Oh my gosh. Okay, started. We'll just add like 20 seconds. Oh man, excuse me. Yeah, what else? As I can't talk. What else does everybody have going on tonight? Because we're doing this and then we're trying out some Survivor, seeing how it is against Pinhead. I feel like most people are going to be figuring him out, at least for the first week or two. And then it'll actually be like the people that want to play him and like playing him will still be playing him after that. I also need to get some of the Stranger Things stuff before it disappears. Like it's in the shop and there's a Demogorgon skin and like a one Steve and one Nancy skin that I really want. I need to get those because if I don't, I just won't be able to anymore. Yeah. I'm thinking Thursday maybe. Just because I just got this. Oh, but it also, I like bought this through the store and it came with a little thing, a little box. Yeah. I'm also, again, I'm so sad they took out the voice line. The voice line was like one of the best parts, you know? Oh. And we got some of our other cubes, because why not? Abs. You just gotta fit the theme. The voice line, is that you open the box. Here, let me just see if I can play it. Maybe this one. Okay, let's turn this down. Oh.
You opened the box. I came.
That. It sounds really cool. People are making fun of it a little bit because you know exactly why. And yeah. I think it's fantastic. Oh, we got an anniversary med kit coming in. Oh my god. We're bringing in the big guns. Sheesh. Sheesh. And we got Scoop Steve. We love a good Scoop Steve. Okay. I hope we don't get an indoor map again because I feel like I would be better at Pinhead's ability outside, where I have room for error. I mean, eventually you get better at his stuff and everything, but that's what we're doing. We're playing him to get better. All right. Are you kidding me? What the hell? Oh, is this the maintenance time? Oh, yep. Everybody's disconnected right now. This is Tuesday maintenance. Let's just go ahead and exit out real quick. I completely forgot. Why do they put stuff out on Tuesdays? It's always a maintenance day, and then people are like, what the hell, dude? What the hell, dude? Oh, man. I literally just gotten into a match, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm ready to go. Or sorry. There we go. You gotta get that little tongue action in there. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. But no, big sad. Well, I guess we'll just kind of chill for a second. Yeah, no, I've been really bad about that. Like, yeah, disconnects are brutal. It's like the Tuesday maintenance disconnect is the worst every Tuesday. Which is why I've started playing like story games on Tuesdays, but this came out today, so I'm like, we're gonna play some DBD today. I forget every Tuesday. Yeah, it's like Steam maintenance or whatever. So it's Steam, not DBD per se, but Steam. So if you're on console, I don't think it would do that. I'm gonna ask Noah to bring me home food. Eek indeed, Dayton. I could not have put that better myself. The inflection and everything. Yeah. Well, now we just wait. Maybe I can try to start it up again. Let's see. It's doing the easy anti-cheat thing. All I want to do is play Pinhead. What are you up to right now, Dayton? What you got going on? Are you doing Pinhead things? Doing food handler stuff. Okay, not as fun. Also probably more fun than Pinhead things. Like actual Pinhead things. Expanding your knowledge on how to handle food. Also, so you can work in a restaurant. Because isn't that required? I heard Trenton saying. Like you have to have it. All right. I think we're up and going again. Hopefully. You know, you see it down here. It's required at Houlihan's, but it wasn't at Apple Apples. Gotcha. That's so weird. But it is what it is. The more you are gonna know, you're gonna know so much about food. You're gonna be the food expert. People will ask you, hey, what do you know about food? And you're gonna say everything. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's try that again. Oh my God. We had just gotten into a game too. That's the part that I'm like, if we were in queue, whatever. But like, we were in the lobby for a game. Now we have to wait another no, it was like 3.5 minutes. I mean, it's not terrible compared to other queue times. Stop yelling. other queue times I've had, but compared to usual, it is little meh. Oh, here. You know what? I'll just keep it tiny until we get in there. Man, no, I'm really hoping Noah brings me home some mott sticks again. He brought some home two nights ago? 2 nights ago, maybe? Or last night. I don't fucking know. One night, he is eventually, sometime. But man, yeah, has there been any like big bugs in any of your games, Lud? Like anything like super weird happen? I think I might change into like a hoodie and shorts just because I'm wearing pants right now, and I just think shorts would be nicer to wear. So after this match that we just got into, I think that's gonna be the plan. Got Pixie and other people. I'm ready. Let's freaking go. Do I know what I'm doing? No. Am I ready? Yes. So they're exhausted when we hit them with our stuff. Ooh, increases time it takes. And survivors who break free from a possessed chain will suffer from deep wound. Ooh. Oh, I like that one. Little Death Slinger action going on with his ability inflicting deep wounds. And what's the other one? Legion? Big old bunny boy. The best Legion skin, hands down. The second best is the one with all of them together. Hello, Little. Have you played the new update? Have you tried it out? Yeah, give him the stand up. We got this. We got little John. Man. Imagine if Pinhead's face was as messed up as his, like, Jonathan's face whenever they came out. Ugh. Man. Anyways, haven't even updated yet. Oh, man. That's okay. It literally, Steam just had its little maintenance thing happen and everybody got kicked off, so. Yeah. I played one game. I'm figuring it out, kinda. Oh, what else are you up to? Also, what is Starts Duel? That's a Final Fantasy 14 thing, right? Like, is that the one you were working on a little while ago that you were telling me about? Like last week? No, that was the raid. What is that? Starts Duel. I have no clue. Are you just out there fighting people in the streets, challenging them? Old school? I feel like some people could use a little duel. You know? Like in a parking lot. Fisticuffs in the streets. You flip me off and honk at me or something. I'm like, all right, let's go. A very formal, not like all out fist fight, but like a very civilized duel where one person dies. I'm just kidding. No death. So what's to get this mount? Okay. So it was Final Fantasy. I know things. No, I don't. Oh man, you had to collect all these notes, and the one notes you needed was from a duel. Oh, I gotcha. Hi there, Totem. Where are all of our little pals at? I got some flying hooks for you. Jeez, nobody's anywhere. Man, and you finally, after 2 weeks of nonstop grinding, got it. Well, congratulations. It sounds like a lot of work. Oh, I see you running. I see you running. What's Pinhead's movement speed? He does seem really fast. I don't care about the box. We got us a pal right here. I do not know. I can check after this game. I do feel like he is quite a bit faster. Oh shoot, we got some more pals. I thought he was going to go through the window. Oh, I've been fooled. Fooled once again. Oh, man. All right, John. I literally just went all around him. You know what? It's okay. We're still learning. I'll only cry a little bit as we chase him for like 10,000 years. Oh my God. Why? Why did it do that? I literally cannot. I cannot, yo. All right, John, you know what? You're just better. You are just better than me right now. So go have fun. Enjoy your life. I see a little feet. Oh, that I got stuck on a tree. This game's going fantastic. All right, Meg, I'm gonna get you with my chain. Yeah! Woo! So we want to do it in more wide open spaces because when they go through a wall, it's easier to break. No, honestly, I got schooled earlier. So what changes have they made compared to the PTB? I would have to double check. We kind of gave a brief overview and then I haven't played it at all, so I don't really notice anything from like personal experience. Oh, I almost got her. But we will take a look again. That way I can figure out all this extra stuff. Just because it's good to know. Y'all, I cannot. His shit is so hard to freaking... What's he look like going through a window, I wonder? Finally! Now that's what we need. See, if you get really good at this, it's kind of like a Death Slinger thing where you can stop loops really fast. Oh, man. Yeah, whenever I tried to play the PTB, it was basically impossible to get a match. And I was like, I'm just going to play the regular one. And that's how that went. But yeah, we'll absolutely take a look. Where? Jonathan, I've come to exact my revenge. And nobody's over here. Where the hell is everybody? Oh my lord. Oh, I can also find my cube, by the way, and like open it. PTB public test beta. I came. I'll do the voice for him since he no longer has it. Buzzkill. Hey! He has literally the reach of a T-Rex. Up into the sky we go. Oh my god. Y'all, I'm so bad at this guy. It's okay. Did we hook you? Yeah, no, I want you. I was going for you. I just didn't know if we got her yet. If we did, I don't want to be mean. Oh, man. I can always switch it up and just play like a Death Slinger and make him real mad. Oh, man. So these survivors are loving it. No, I'm sure. Also, that was the worst flashlight I've ever seen. That's my one own of this game since I'm literally the worst. Oh, get out of here. You. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Oh, you got me. You got me. Man. All right. Oh, there it goes. And I'm trying to use his perks and like actually make use. You're just a little too early there, my bud. That was a good guess. I really didn't know if I was going to get to the hook on time or not. Oh, perfect. We actually got it this time. Hey, girly. Hey, girly. We're just going to give up on John because it's not going to happen. Don't crawl back. Oof, he doesn't look as far down as other killers, which is like strange. Oh, thank you, Swayze. Let's go kick a gen because we're literally doing nothing to regress any of these gens. One of the nice things about our perks is it makes people oblivious. Like they just cleansed a totem. Only they can cleanse that totem. And until then, it's kind of like the Nemesis perk where you can't, you know, oblivious basically just means they cannot hear you. Your terror radius, I guess, would be the better way to describe it. All right, Johnny boy. That's... Are you kidding me? What the hell was that? It was... Oh my. That's the first time that I've seen that. Also because I've only played him for 2 games. So take that how you will. Hey, I got you. This is gonna be it. Here we go. He's not gonna be able to get over. Yeah, we got him. He's speedrunning this training. I believe in you. Double the time, double the info. Right? Is that how it works? What the hell is that sound? Is that my box? Hey, boy, you got a box over here? No. Oh, fuck. Oh, she hasn't cleansed. She gets harassed. Hey, girl, give me that box back. Give me my damn box back. Give me my fucking box back. That's mine. Thief. Thief. Somebody stop her. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Why? You had such a good loop there. Oh, I got my box back. Hey. It's multiple lessons and it's kind of dumb. Yeah, honestly, most stuff like that is really dumb. Like the food training, just... Ugh. There's somebody close by because I hear lots of chains and I know it's not me. Oh my god, frame rate, please. Holy frame rate. Batman. I also need to look at these gens. They gotta be almost done with one of those. Like, there's no way. That one was chugging along at about light speed. Hey, we got you. Fine, we'll just go over here. Whatever. I don't want you anyways, dude. Oh, Johnny boy. Ah! It's you too. To the hook we go. Where is the nearest hook? She was almost dead. We almost did that. Look at us go. We're getting better with his ability. I think the thing is we got to get really close and then just like launch it. All right, there's a door over here. I'm gonna just focus on that because I don't think they would have gone too far. Or JK, they're not even over there. Oh, they are over here? Hello. I know you're not the only one over here. Meg, Hey, girly. Hey, I want to get you. Okay, fine, get out, I guess. But no, we're getting a lot closer this time than we did last time. So I mean, just keep up the progress or something like that. They went to this door, didn't they? It's okay. I know I'm not gonna get you. The door's already open. Ciao. And I missed again. What the hell, dude? Oh God. It really takes some getting used to. I'm not used to this kind of like flying around stuff. And my sensitivity is so low. Oh man. All right. Oh, I guess that's red rank. Huh. Well, let's keep on going. Some interesting games. I mean, he's not the worst to play. I know some new killers are like super frustrating, but like, it's not that bad. Blood favor. Sure. Why not? Forgot they added in. Oh, yes. Or no, skill-based matchmaking is like taken out again. They did change the way they did the things. There's like gold, silver, something iridescent, and then there's like different little levels. So there's like 4, 3, 2, and 1 as well. Let me go back to the menu real quick. News. Okay. Oh no. Wait. Be enabled separately. Okay. Grades, replacing ranks, broken into 5 groups, ash, bronze, silver, gold, and iridescent. Oh, that's it. Okay. Subgroupings. Okay. Oh, I see. So 2019. Okay, that makes sense. I guess. Yeah. I see now. So this is Nemesis. Miscellaneous. Blood Lodge game app. Re-enabled. Some bug fixes. Cinnabyte's power description is not using the latest version. Changes. So voice is gone at the moment. Maximum time they can spend inside of a gateway is added a pitch threshold before going into lower level and placing gateway. Short immunity from Cinnabyte's chain to recently unhooked survivors. Okay, that makes sense. Deep wound timer pauses while performing the remove chains interaction. So just like some quality of life improvements. Chain hunt to always spawn 3 clusters of chains. Oh, interesting. The spawning interval is based on how many healthy and injured survivors there are. Your training is testing you. It's like cleaning chemicals okay to be mixed with food. Yes, I put bleach in all of my meals. Sanitizer, more like smoothie. Pinkies up. Increase the value of various score events. Okay. Oh, change pallet hitboxes to prevent killer from getting stunned when on the same side as the survivor. Okay, what is his... How do I find his... I don't know how to find his movement speed, but Oh wait, here. What if I go into killer? Yeah, I just remember we could do that. Oh my gosh. 4.6. Yeah. 4.6. I figured it might be just because he's so fucking fast. Also, I forgot as well. Did they? No. Never mind. Forget about it. It is a good food additive. One of my favorites, actually. Gives it a spice, as some might say. Good soup. Good soup. Oh, I forgot to look about this again. Like, nah. Because we got it. You don't want bacteria or viruses in your food. Exactly. Exactly. My God. Some people actually think like that, though. So, I mean, gotta put it in. I mean, you see people taking horse dewormer. I mean, that could also be said that there's a lot of misinformation in there. But it's still one of those things. Like, you gotta put it on the box. Or you gotta put the warning in the training videos. Please do not put chemicals in your food or take non-human medication. Please do not take the mayonnaise shot that Dayton posted in the Discord. It's just gross. I would argue that it's not food safe. But that's just me. No mayo shots for anything. Mayo shots are banned. /ban mayo shots. Look at us. We're almost devotion 3. We're 75% the way there. Almost. Sorry. I guess I could just say 73 because it's out of 100 either way. 73% the way there. Point whatever. Uh-huh. Okay. So I guess that okay. Little do you know if, because it didn't really tell us, is 4 the highest or is 4 the lowest for the ranks? So does it go gold, 4, 3, 2, 1, iridescent, 4, 3, 2, 1? Because I guess that would make sense if we still want to keep 1 like rank 1. But like every game literally does it different. And in like Valorant versus League, it's set like completely backwards. No, I'm Dirty Dan. This honestly, what an image. Okay. I'm ready. Time for more Cinnabiting. Chomp, chomp. I don't want to like clack my teeth together too much. You're on 6 out of 11. So you still have like 7 hours to go of it. That's what it feels like. Would you store chicken on the floor? Would you store chemicals above food? Man, I hated that stuff. You've only been doing it for 45 minutes. Oh, okay. So it's not like a super big one. I remember some of these like food safety tests and all that taking literally forever. What the fuck is that? What is that? You trying to spawn together? The hell? Time to book it. Shaking my head. We'll use our 4.6 meters per second movement speed to just book ourselves over there. This is my running animation. There. And all the kitty cats are sleeping. And they're all so darn cute. All right. By the end of this stream, we're going to be an expert. We will be a freaking expert. We got this. Man, whenever we switch to Survivor, though, if anybody wants, like, a specific build or anything, let me know, because I'm all for trying different builds and shit. Especially since that's one of the people that I have prestiged. I kind of have to put prestiging Death Slinger on hold for a second. Am I blind? Did I just lose my vision? It sure seems like it. They were just up here, right? Like, in that small blink of an eye, did they just disappear? Oh, fuck. Okay. You only know league builds? Oh, I guess they stopped? Did you not want to open my box? Did you not want me? Give me my box back, damn it! There's somebody on the gen! Oh, damn it. I couldn't get there in time. No. Yes! Give me my damn box. Okay. I see that flashlight. I see it. I saw that. Oof. Okay, well. Also, Dayton, I only take league builds from silver players. Sorry. The fuck are they? My damn box! Oh, and she was just... Oh my god. Y'all. Yeah, okay. Sad Pinhead noises. Oh. Harumph. I don't know. I've never seen the movie. I heard it's real interesting. And that's about it. Yeah, crunch that gin, boy. That's my crunch sound. You guys like that? I thought it was pretty good. Hey, Nancy. Yeah, drop down. Drop down. No, drop down. Also, why is literally everybody over here working on gens? Knock it off. Yeah, knock it off. No gens. This is a gen-free house. Oh my god, literally every gen in the world is being worked on right now. Guys, chill. I'm learning. Did you know that you are not allowed to do this when I'm learning a killer? It's okay. Now you know. Knock it off. Ooh, whoa, dude. Literally knock it off. Holy hell. Can I? No. Okay. We're so far away. Oh, we just click it once. Give me my damn box back, Cheryl. These people. Oh, drop it. Oh, damn. Oh, we got this. Oh my god, that was so many chains. so many chains. Also, Dayton, who are you like playing right now in League? Like, who's your go-to? What the heck, dude? What the heck? Who the hell's... It sounds like somebody's still working on it. Oh, there goes the pal. The pal? The hex totem. I am forgetting how to speak as we speak. Hey, Dwighty boy. We're doing better than we were. They're still plowing through gens. But it's okay. Because we're doing Pinhead things. You see what the question looks like? I'll take a look at it in just a second. I'm interested to know what kind of food questions you got. And how they're testing you. Oh, man. Those questions are the worst, honestly. I just heard somebody drop down. Hey! Nancy Pansy. You know what? It's okay. Where the hell did Nancy go? Where the fuck? Oh my god. Good one, Nancy. Ah! Oh, hell yeah. We love a good interruption. Woo! Now she knows where that is. They've also added bad keyboard music. Oh, I love it. 10 out of 10, honestly. Where are you going? Oh, we got it. We're getting so good at this. We are getting so good at this. Slightly sarcastic when I say this as well. Oh, right here. Ah! No! Hey, we got her. Hell yeah, dude. All right, we haven't had any scourge hooks super close to us. They're all really far away. That's okay. Apparently we're mocking their screams now too, so you know, just all the fun stuff all at once. What? Nobody's in there. Man, I love the way they use the hooks for this guy though. So cool. So fun. Oh. You just over here cleansing a totem? I don't know if I'd actually use a lot of his perks normally, but you know, it is what it is. That's not being worked on. Oh, Nancy. Nancerino. There she is. Hey, we did it! Where's she going? Wow, she's booking it. Nice, I guess. Good dead hard? Question mark? I don't know. Shit, now I gotta go all the way around. That's such a rough window. Nancy, leave my damn box alone. Girl, do you not know? I gotta get used to his reach, man. All right, whatever. Come on, Nance, let's go. To this hook right here. Really close. Captain, say hi. Oh, hello. How's it going? You didn't? Oh, shoot, I gotta put one out. Thanks, Noah. Sorry, I didn't see it. I did not even see it until now. How's work? You said it was slow. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to play Pinhead. I don't know how to play him. Oh, woe is me. Here, I'll post something in Discord in a second. Whoa, into the trees. We killed one person. Hehe. Okay, let's go to the doors. Actually, let's get her. We got a lot closer this time. Like, if we keep playing, I'm sure we'll get it. Oh, girl, no. What the fuck? He literally, like, little T-Rex arms can't hit more than, like, a foot in front of him. Gosh dang. Oh, shit, they just left. Oh, that's why. Okay, well, that makes sense, I guess. I'd probably just leave too. Yeah, Noah, did you handle food today? Other than your own? Oh, I thought I heard hatch. Where the hell is the hatch? Aw, I was gonna zoom. GG's? 7 out of 12. Woo! So, grade progress error. What the hell? All right, let's restart our game. It says restart your game to see current progress. Also need to know if you have food handlers training, because if not, oh no. Do they need it in town here? Oh, hold on just a second. There we go. Now we're live, I guess. Happy DVD, everybody. Everything is going wrong today. Okay, let's see what Dayton sent. You cannot avoid a cough when handling food. Either A, cover your mouth with your hand. B, cough on the food. C, cover your mouth and nose with your upper arm. Or D, turn away from the food and cough into the air. I think B is the best option, honestly. Just cough right on the food. Oh, here's another one. Radiating. Okay, here's another one. An apron cannot be used as a hand towel because A, bacteria will collect and multiply on the apron. B, you only have one person to wear, you only have one apron to wear per shift. C, the apron will become permanently stained. Or D, the apron will smell bad. These are quite the questions. Okay, well anyways, let's give Annie some treats while we wait for the game to load back up. And this is her first treat of the day. And here's Echo. She sees me taking my headphones off and getting up. She's like, oh shit, what's happening? We don't know. All right. Hey, Rob. Giving her little head squishes. Womp. It might smell bad. It might. My hair is sticking up a lot back here. My headphones. Pushing my hair back. Oh, man. Let's see. Is there like something we can play while we're waiting for... queue? While we're waiting in queue? I kind of want to like do something. And like other than just like sitting here waiting for the game. Yeah. Yeah, Echo. Look at her. Oh, you couldn't see it. I was in the way. Here, I'm getting a couple more. Okay. We're going to go ahead and ready up. I'm going to put on this. Noah, why are you dodging questions? Okay, I'm looking to see if there is something we can do while we're waiting on the game. Maybe. And my light never started doing its thing. Come on. What the heck, dude? Okay, let's see. I don't see anything. You guys know any like smaller games or something? Let me know. 'Cause yeah, it's... Oh well. Your moth the flames right now. I see laminate configuration. You just go. No, honestly, the that's the way that literally. Oh my gosh. Every like minute in the game, give or take, is just the box flashing on my screen. It's like, hey, somebody's solving the cube. Also, like the frames on camera seem a little weird right now. Ah, well. Okay, while we wait for a match, I think I'm gonna change real quick into different clothes just because it's a little toasty. Because the AC guy didn't fix shit. I'll be right back. All right. Back with more comfortable outfit. I like the other stuff, but it's just a little too warm in there for that. I do realize I'm wearing a hoodie right now. Don't make fun of me. Just got to place yourself on awkward positions to see if the pinhead is also placed in some weird place. I'm having a little bit of a difficult time, to be honest, as our little pinhead pal. You know, I like him. Hi, Annie. He's a cool dude. He's got a cool little head. But his little hook is so freaking sensitive. Like, if I move my mouse at all, and my sensitivity is like turned down. If I move it at all, it like... But the problem is, like, I don't know, it's either like too sensitive or like I can't move it fast enough. I don't know if I'll ever find a middle ground. Will I ever be satisfied? No. Oh man, sending all the idiotic questions to you. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I am. All right, y'all. Well, we got 2 people last time. Let's... Oh, we're on the same map again. Sorry, I had to do your job. What the hell, dude? What do you mean, do your job? You mean this isn't your full-time thing? Gosh. I can't believe it. Honestly. Yeah, Dayton wants to know if you've been handling food. Have you been handling food lately? You know what? I don't know what I expected there. How have you been handling food? Are you taking it okay? Oh, you in this locker? If I turn over here, you're gonna stun me? Don't get paid enough for a full-time mod. Maybe one day. Hey, get away from my shit, dude. Okay. Yes. Oh, no. Well, bye, Noah. Rip in pieces. No wonder I could hear him. He was downstairs. Oh my god, I just hit the shit out of him. Oh. I love it. Is the basement down here? Of course it isn't. Why would it? Why would it? Luckily, there's a hook really close, and I don't have to, like, walk around, and he won't get out. If you don't know how blood contaminates all food and food surfaces. You know what? Thank you for the great advice. Please don't put blood in my food. I see you, David! Oh, are you kidding me? If I was Freddy, I'd be able to hit him from like halfway across the map. Maybe that's who I should play. Since I'm so bad at like hitting people. Oh, he's just fucking gone. It's worth a shot. We had to try it. Give me my box. If you put a band-aid on, you also got to wear finger kind of. Yeah, I did know that one. Is this you, Lud? Is this you? I feel like this guy is like, only this guy's getting the box. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna call the Pinhead police. Pinhead police are on their way, sir. We'll be with you momentarily. God damn. This... I'm getting clowned on, y'all. Hey, oh, we got it. Damn it. He's just too good for us. Just too good. Yeah! I hated that interaction. Oh, okay. You know, by the end of this, we're all gonna be food safe certified, whatever it's called. X totem. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Okay. Hey, if you're working on a gen, I do have to inform you, no. Knock it off. You've been informed. Chippity chop, we got you. We smacked you. Gotta get your smacks in for the day. Now that is what I call some pinhead play. That's not what I call that. So creepy NC. Honestly, love it. Okay, yeah, I'll take the box. Now where? Oh, it's you. Hey, pal. Sad. You're ready to be check shipments of all types of meats, fruits, veggies, dairy products. I already did that today, sir. I check all my shipments coming to my house. As you know, I ship plenty of food to my house. Yeah, that's right. Get chained, dude. We're just gonna justify this by saying that we... He has the reach of a T-Rex! I can't hit shit! Were they in a safe range? You know what? I guess I need to brush up on this. All right. Bye, Leon. I don't like you anymore. What the fuck are we doing? You know, no, keep it up. I need to get some people this game. Oh. Thank you. We've only hooked 3 people. It's kind of not good. We got it this time, though. All right. Whoa, so many sound notifications go off in a Pinhead game with his perks. Like, the only things that are giving me these sound notifications are his perks. What the hell? So many notifications. Chill. Up and at him. All right. We'll take you to this hook because I'm feeling extra generous today. By extra generous, I mean this is the closest hook for me. Extra generous to my legs. Where'd our pal go? You had a friend. What happened to him? Rip in pieces to that friend. Yeah, I'm not even fucking with you. Like, I'm not good enough at Pinhead's ability yet to justify that chase. Now, if I was Death Singer, watch out. The ums are necessary in case you're wondering. haven't seen you one time, Mr. Creepy. Oh, I almost fell into a hole. I'll take it. I will take it. Oh, there's somebody else over here too. Hell yeah, dude. All right, let's kick this gen. Just because there's only one gen left and I'm feeling kind of abysmal about our performance here. Thank you for crawling your way towards this hook. I appreciate what you do. Hey, Leon. Okay. I mean, I know you're probably just buying time right now, but I appreciate it. Watch, he's gonna get out. I know it. Oh no. Okay. Oh yes. You and that, you sneaky little fella, you. You know what? I get behind it. That's pretty good. Why doesn't he lunge? Like, everybody else lunges whenever you go off. No, no, no. We will get you. We will get you. At least one kill per game. Oh, shit. I thought that was the open one. Okay, yeah, we kind of goofed on that one. All right, GG's, guys. I almost got you. We're getting better. We are getting better. One more hit, one more hit. Yeah. Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. Oh, man. We got this, though. We're making progress. GG's. We can say GG back. It's a sad day. All right. Let's see more of the questions. Okay. Proper procedures for using gloves. Putting on gloves without washing hands. I must say no. Put on a pair of gloves for all safety. Oh my god, for all food preparation jobs. What the fuck? Change gloves after any action that may cause contamination, or at least every few hours. Or D, gloves can be worn in food preparation areas and in break rooms. All of them, all at the same time. Ooh, iridescent configuration. When a chain... I was reading that. When a chain hunt is inactive, survivors beyond 16 meters of the laminate configuration cannot see its aura. Now that is what I like to call free real estate. That's not at all what that means. Okay, just to get some of this, we're gonna play this boy just a bit, just to get some extra blood points. And then we'll keep on, keeping on here. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on. We got a new tier. And it's okay, I guess. So we have Lightborn, Knockout, Nerp is calling. And pop goes the Weasel. Dragon's Grip would be okay. It's a fun one. I don't know. I'm not really feeling any of the others. All right, and we have Mangled with our Spear attack, and stun duration is decreased when the survivors break free. Lesson 7 must have been written by someone else. Oh no. got Annie over here on the floor. Yeah. If you guys are newer here, this is my sweatshirt that I dyed myself. You might be able to tell if you dye things regularly, but if not, it's pretty good. Or if you dye things regularly, maybe not that good, but it's okay. I think it's fantastic. And then the like strings are dyed too. I think it is very cool. Very, very cool. All right. I wish I had like more to do on these little breaks here. But I guess we can just kind of chat and talk about things. Talk about life. What's going on. I think I might message some people and see if they are like playing some Survivor later, because I feel like it'd be, I want to see what it's like playing against sorry, I'm fixing something over here when the cats knocked it. I want to see what Survivor's like with big old pin boy. Ooh, pinball boy. All right. Yeah, I mean, the ranking system's basically the same thing. It's just different name. Like, that's literally it. Unless they change how it works, like matchmaking wise, I don't really see a point. Like, it's easier for people just getting into the game versus red, green, purple. But I don't know. I think it's more just like for people that are just joining the game, trying to figure it out. Here's an update on the cats. Flash is taking over Annie's chair, and Annie is, you can't see her, but she's sitting on Noah's desk. Hello, Zombie. Welcome. There's Echo on the floor there. Just chilling. Oh, wow. 10 out of 10. What a jump. Oh, man. Thank you. I tie-dyed this myself. We're wearing some shorts and a sweatshirt, a hoodie that I may have spilled something on, but it's okay. We're not going to talk about it. Oh, shoot. We got some Megs. How's your night going, Zombie? What is happening? Aw. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. You get some emotes. And no ads, which is very nice. We're talking about cream and custard fillings. Ooh. In what? Because those are nice until they're in weird things. Just hanging out tonight. I gotcha. We were checking out Pinhead, but we're playing a little bit of Deathslinger just so we can get this challenge done, because Pinhead is hard. And it's going to be a little difficult to get this done with him. So we're just going to switch on over, because it's a lot easier this way. Genuinely sad. Killer had Mori and you DC'd. No! What happened? Was it your internet? I have seen so many cool Pinhead Moris. Like, people have done the Pinhead Mori into Hatch. Or they've done it into like just like weird places that are like holes in the ground. It's the server. Oh man. Yeah, Dead by Daylight's really, it's acting up. Shaking my finger at it. I couldn't decide if I wanted to do this or this, so I kind of like circled it. Oh man. He more to Jake and you stood right next to him. You're like, hey, that's some good stuff. That's what I do with Ghostface. If their Ghostface has a Mori, I will risk my life to get in that selfie. Yeah, Zombie, have you played any DBD today? All the new stuff is out. Also, I still haven't played RPD as Survivor. Like, I've played it as Killer maybe once or twice, and then gone again because it's broken. And the saddest thing, he no longer says that he came. I've been working all day. You won't get to see him until Thursday. Oh man. You know what? Hopefully there will be some bug fixes by then, so maybe it'll be better. But man, I feel you. That was me yesterday. I worked all day on Memorial Day, and it was something else. It wasn't like too difficult, but you hear that? Over here. That's what it was. I was like, who the hell just started running? Oh my god, everybody and their mothers over here. Okay, to be fair, I also am not that good at Deathslinger, but I'm much better than I am at Pinhead. Hey, baby. Stop. Spirit's probably my only like really good killer. Man, you'll attempt to get him in there tomorrow. Oh, I see. Well, I hope the games go well for you then. We managed to come across the restart tonight. I should have shot her. Which is something. So we were like about ready to get into a match, and people were already in games, and it DC'd everybody. Too far ahead. You have to shoot like a little ahead. Oof. This is the cost. Oh my god, I got stuck on a bush. This is the cost of playing a bunch of killers instead of just one. Oh shit. She's goofing on me. She's goofing. I'll get you. I'll get you. There we go. Oh, where are we going? I'm playing so I can like kill somebody, and I don't know. If this game goes rough, we can always just go back to Pinhead. Don't know, to bring you home food too? Yeah, sure. I'll just take a little 3-hour detour. No guarantees that it'll be warm though. Well, I mean, he could probably sit on it. That might keep it warm. Hey, girl. Hey. Oh my god, I didn't know if it would actually reach over. And once we hook her, we got pop. Woo, we love some pop. Oh, when we can shoot her up top too. Oh, let's pull her off that roof. Oh my god. Oh, Nancy or Nia? Yeah, come here. Love it. Either way, she's injured. It's just the stun time. Damn it. I waited too long for that. I also did not click the button when I meant to. Whew. I'll blame that one on my mouse. Or something like that. It's an old mouse. It's going senile. Said button click. More like peckless. No information was sent. Okay. Honestly, this is going about as good as our Pinhead games. That's okay. All right, have fun, I guess. Or get lots of stuff done, you know? Productive work stuff. I gave you options to choose from there. All right. Oh, when we got a gin. Oh, well, let's pop it. Let's pop it. So good. Now, where's our pal going? Where are we off to? All right. Yikes. All the people we've been going against are pretty good. Y'all, I cannot with myself. We still got her. Hey. Oh, no way. I was convinced that would get her. Man. All right, all right. Yo. Pro Death Slinger right here. We got this. Just built different, I guess. Only 2 gens left. Damn, these people are pounding through. Get a little dainty landing. Let's go pop that gen over there. I guess skill-based matchmaking is in play? Maybe? Can't wallbang on this game, I know. Damn, if only, you know? If only. Oh, we got this. Well, poo. Let's see. Go around. We cut her off. Oh, and she said, no, not allowed. Yeah? Okay. I don't know what's going on. We're just gonna leave. That is something. From boring keyboard to boring piano. Oh, shit, dude. You're moving up. Next thing you know, we're gonna have some, like, some horns back there. Ooh, getting bougie with it. We are shooting the walls. Yikes. We're thinking in Pinhead terms. Ooh. Hey. Oh my god. This is the longest gate in existence. Yeah, we're just gonna go back to Pinhead. Sad days. Just whack me. Oh, not a fan of Death Slinger here. Yeah. Honestly, I'm usually a lot better at them, but I'm just stinking the room up today. Like, I'm literally stinking stuff up so much. Oh. Scares the crap out of you. I wouldn't blame you. I don't know what is going on, but no, it's really rough. I think it's just because I'm in that Pinhead mindset. Oh, nice. We got this. Just kidding. Oh my god. I thought it opened up a different way. No. Oh, well. Yeah, we're just gonna go back to Pinhead because I feel like we were doing pretty okay. All right, fine. We'll just get Lori. Yikes. You know who scares the crap out of me? Hag. Hag scares me and Myers. Those two every time. Without fail. All right, I'm coming. Better get out of there. Girl. I know you're doing it so you can get your friend down, but still. Are we gonna even make it over there? Yeah, we'll make it. Damn. That was a good try. I know you have DS. Just get out of here. Just go. Go, be free. Go. I'm not gonna pick you up. Bye. Little slug. Oh shoot, I gotta watch Noah's headphones over there. And he's staring him down. She might start chewing on him here in a second. No, 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 no. Come back. One more. Let me get you. Bam. Oh, so sad. Killer got DC'd again. Oh, man. You know, honestly, it's just not my DBD day, Lud. I am stinking up these matches. Sheesh. I don't know what it is. And no GG's. Yep. Not your DB day. The game said not playing Pinhead, not interested. We got 2 kills as Pinhead last time. I feel like that's pretty good. All right. We're almost up. Oh, hell yeah. All right. Franklin's coming in. Oof. Let's go. People's items. All right. Let's do this. Now that is good. Also, I might want to put in a loadout. That might help. Also, the past 2 days, there's been at least one person in the survivor lobbies that has put in RPD, and we haven't gotten it. And I'm pretty sure it's been disabled for the past couple days, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we're just bad luck. But man, I don't know. Some days I'm just like, it's not a DBD day. Like some days it's more Valorant day. Okay, hold on. I gotta go get these headphones. They disabled it again. I honestly, at some point, like, it doesn't even exist anymore. Like, I've barely played on that as Survivor. Like, it has barely come up since it came out. The most I played on it was when we were playing customs, and we only played like almost four matches. I don't even think it was all the way. But like, y'all, I don't freaking know. It's just that map is not it, you know. Let's see. Do we want to bring anything else? Do this. Casting range of gateway. Yeah, well. Let's do the turn rate. Even though the turn rate's already about as high as it can go for me. God, it's so fast. Like, here's the chain. We're taking a 90-degree turn. Ooh. Well, so what are we doing now that you beat the starts duel, Little? What is the plan now? Oh shoot, I got a hood. Am I cool yet? You touch ready to eat foods with your bare hands? No, of course not. You touch it with your feet. It's questions. Like, you've never served food before? Come on. Easy questions. Didn't want to have to report me. Okay, thank you. Don't worry. I bring it out. I actually do a handstand and carry like 4 plates all at once. Oh, God. It's like a Mexican restaurant where they carry a whole bunch of plates all up their arm, but with my legs. Yeah. I'll start a count for him. How many days does he have left? We've been on Gold 4 for quite a while. Maybe this is the appropriate rank. 7 days. Okay. Well, next Tuesday, that's when we're starting Life is Strange, so rip, you won't even get to see the new game. That's so sad. Aw. I'll go to his grave and let him know every day. Okay, maybe not every day. Maybe every time we play it. Because I don't want to spoil it for myself until I play it. Speaking of playing, we're in a lobby. You like that segue? It was like a level 0 segue. It's the worst. We're ready. Have you actually like watched or played any of the Life is Strange games, Dayton? I don't know if that's exactly your cup of tea. Hi, Annie. Annie is walking around a lot. Noah's not here for to move his stuff on his desk so Annie can sit down and like lay there. So she's like, well, what do I do now? There's stuff there. There's no Noah to harass. So instead she just walks around and then stares me down. Like, look at this. She looked away when I did it, but see how intense those eyes are? She's out for blood. We watched a bit and all I got was the lesbian couple and one of them can control time. Well, that's pretty much all. Yeah, that exactly. And it's got a cool story. It's a good time. It's got that what you would call a character development, where they develop the character. Very insightful, I know. As insightful as we get. I saw a tweet the other day that said, well, if you ever feel down, just remember, the only reason you lost was because the other team won. And that really spoke to me. I said, yeah. Thanks, bestie. That's so true. So true. And then everybody clapped. Steve! Oh my god. She's so fast. Everybody's over here. I'm really confused on what was happening there. But since you're alive, I don't feel as bad. Oh, what the hell? I can't move. That was so weird. I don't know what happened there. Somebody please help me. I literally could not move. That was so strange. Oh my god, I could not get around. I'm getting stuck on everything. The Cenobite's little nails on his head are getting caught. That's my excuse. Pinhead's pins are pinning themselves on everything. And I'm pinning this on him. Pinhead. Thank you. I have no freaking clue where this person went. Annie, please? Please? Annie is just standing right in the way up. If anybody types in chat, will I know? Not at all. Annie, I see you. You don't need to walk all over my stuff to get my attention. She like walked over, kicked my phone, and then walked right back and sat down. What was the point of that? This is just like adding insult to injury. What the hell, dude? What the hell? Here, come. I'm hooking you. This is yours. You're going on the hill. Whippity womp. Here you are. Oh. Interesting location. Okay, I'm gonna go out the other side because I know he's gonna come over here. Also, oh yeah, that's gonna be hard to find. Whenever he kicks a gen, it kind of sounds like he's crushing a soda can. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Because that's what it reminds me of. Is this him? It is. Hey, come on, baby. Hey, Steve, come here. What does the accent have to do with that? No clue. Hey, girly. She was, oh my god, she was walking behind me like exactly as I was turning. That's hilarious. Oh my god. Oh gosh. Where the hell was that? I have no clue. Okay, we're gonna go back over there because that Jin was zooming. Oh. Hey, girly. Keep doing you. Okay. We're gonna go after her because she's injured. And we will be able to down her right now. That's 3 people. When in doubt, throw it out. Damn right. Whatever that means. I assume it's talking about milk past the expiration date. When in doubt, throw it out. Ma'am, your milk is expired. All right, let's go see what our pals are doing. 2 people are hooked. And Annie is going back under my desk. Annie, you're killing me, girl. You are killing me. It's you too. I am so sorry, Steve, but we're doing a challenge. And I gotta hook people. And you just happen to be a people. Oh shit, he's dead. Rip Steve Aroni. Will be missed. Bye. Cakes for days, Steve. You summoned me. I came. That's my impression of him. You summoned. Came. She doesn't even care. She throws the pallets and she's like, Loop, never heard of her. Oh. I don't know if it's the best idea to throw my chain out right now. Stop. I'm making progress. That Deathslinger game really made us good at Pinhead. 10 out of 10. Would Pinhead again. All right. You guys working on these? Sure you don't want to work on these? Oh shit. Oh, girl. Aw. That's just unfortunate. Here, have a fun time up here. Oh shit, you're dead. She's dead too. All of my survivors are dying. They dropped their med kit, their anniversary med kit. What the heck? Not the med kit, dude. 2 people left. And they're about ready to get harassed by those chains. See, I don't know where they went though. Where would they go? You're killing me. Oh my god. We're just gonna destroy this. That's a no-go for me, dude. All right. I'll just get ya. We cannot wait, can we? Oh my god, y'all. I keep forgetting about his reach. Bro, chill. You still have 4 gens done. Or no. You barely have 4 gens done. I wouldn't get too teabaggy. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. This is good for our challenge, though. Give Annie some scritches while we look for a hatch. Maybe she's on it already, and I don't even know. Don't hear it. Hatch! Somebody lost their anniversary medkit. That's so sad. Rip in pieces. Oh. Okay. I'm sorry, girl. And I guess they're on top of it? No. I thought so too. I was like, they're just gonna wait for me to come over there and then go. I wonder if the chains stop them from doing that. If I don't get the shit from that, I'm gonna be so mad. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Maybe tonight's not a DBD night. I'm just... I don't know if I can do that anymore. God damn. 5 games. Oh, that sucks. That like actually sucks. Man. Okay, well, let's... I don't know. Do I want to keep playing if that's just gonna be the case? Because I do want to play. I want to play DVD, but I also don't want to keep getting disconnected and not being able to get pips or anything. Yeah, but I want to play this guy. Little flowy skirt boy. Yeah, let's do one more. It's a good point, Dayton. We'll do one more and then we'll just see how it goes. If it DCs, then I think that might be our sign, you know? I'm spelling shit. Oh man. Well, where's Echo? Let me scoot over here. There she is. She's looking out the window. And here's Annie putting her butt on my monitor. Put your little booty on my monitor. What do you think of the disconnections in this? Annie? Would you like to say something about the DCs? Why? Oh, we turned him around, didn't we? I was like, why is he putting his arrows that way? There's chains. I guess Annie's just gonna chill here. Oh, girl. You can... Okay. I was gonna like give her a little nudge over. That way she didn't lay on my keyboard, but I guess not. Well, in any news, other news actually, which is also any news. This Thursday we're gonna be playing a short spooky game, and then after that we are playing some Phasmophobia. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time this Thursday. We're gonna be getting spooky, and it's just been a while, and I'm very excited because there's new stuff. One of the matches, though. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. You gotta say it was a bit cheatsy because it crashed right as you pick up. Oh my god. Picked up a purple medkit. That does suck. It's just the game right now. Every update, like, it's just a sucky time to play. I'll be able to play Phasmo after work if you have space. Sure. I'd be down. Because that's our main thing. We're just going to be playing some Phasmo and chilling. Just because it's a fun game. And I haven't played it in a while, and it's, you know, September Thursdays. We're doing some spooky games as a lead up to October. And we're going to be playing so many spooky games in October. You know how to really piss the ghosts off. I'm ready. Here's the thing. The game considers it as an escape when the DCs happen, so you kept it. Oh, that's not too bad, I guess. It, like, as long as it doesn't penalize the people, because that's the thing, like, it would happen before and I would be penalized, and I'm like, what? Why? And yeah. Oh man, I don't know. But I'm trying to think of anything else we might be doing this month. Movie night next week, I believe. I gotta post it in the Discord. We'll be doing a fall movie, maybe Over the Garden Wall. We might start that just because it's a nice little thing to start. It's episodic, and or it's a mini series as well, and it's just got that vibe. And we'll do another one like later in the month, probably gonna be Hocus Pocus. And then October, we're going to be doing some scary movie nights. So, yeah. I'm excited for that. And it might, I think in the honor of keeping Thursdays that spooky kind of theme. Sorry. It'll be on Thursday. I thought that said mustard log for a second. I know you guys can't see here. Let me switch. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I have Fracklin and all the other stuff. Fracklin's Dimmies. Dimmy Simmy. I said Dimmy Simmy. Quaver. Getting into music shit. Ugh. Man, I don't know. It's just it's a little bit more of a chill stream compared to the last couple, just because Labor Day wore me out, dude. But I think I should be okay coming up because all the other stuff happens on Saturdays instead of Mondays now. It was we were only open because it was Labor Day, which is kind of dumb in my opinion, but whatever. It's okay. It's okay. I'm only crying a little bit. Just a tad. Also, speaking of Discord, if you're not in the Discord, exclamation mark Discord. Everybody that I've seen is already in the Discord, so if you're in the Discord. Woo. All right. Maybe for the Phasmo stream, we can make it all dark in here too. And it'll be extra spooky. Buffering! No! Rest in peace? Oh no. No buffering allowed. Did that fix it? Do I have a little magic wand in here? I have a pencil. No more buffering. Bippity boppity boop. Think. Yeah? Or I could just do one of these. Just put the lens cap on. Sorry, stream over. Psych, we're here still. It looks like it is just your end buffering because I have... It's golden all the way across the board. No drop frames anywhere. And very consistent bit rate. Sometimes it just happens, you know? You're in and that's like, whoa! Knock it off. Knock it off. Or something like that. All right, y'all. Let's clown on some people. Is that a Zubat emote? Did he make that cat? He made it into an emote? Oh my god. That was so funny. Oh, I was literally just thinking about that today, actually. Noah showed me that video. He's like, you gotta watch this. And like, I watch him and stuff. And I like Zubat. But I saw that and I was like, that's hilarious. Also, apparently Zubat is like part of the LGBTQ community, which is newer info to me. But honestly, we love it. What a freaking cool time. And if he's not, I'm like 99% sure he is. Oh, you did go down here. Okay. Okay. Well, you just kept going. Boom. Backflip. Streamer Fang. Only one streamer allowed. Which is me. Baby streamer me. Oh, man. No, that is so... Oh, my God, please. So freaking hilarious. Although, you know what's really sad? Do you know what's really sad, Lud? Affiliates don't get the animated emotes built into Twitch until the end of the year. That's the sad part. Oh, hey, knock it off. I mean, I still have BTTV, but like for people on mobile and like, you know, people other places, other people watch other things. Where the hell did they go? I am okay. Do not reserve uneaten bread. Like when you drop it off at a table, any food you don't eat goes right back to the peoples. Zoom into the ceiling we go. Hello? I'm gonna make that toolbox mine, boy. Yeah! My little T-Rex arms managed to hit you that time. I'm coming for you. Yeah! Ah! Yes, if it's served and uneaten. All of my bread is hand me down. Hand me down bread only. Speaking of, I really want to go to the thrift store again and like get some clothes, because I found some nice shit at the thrift store last time I went. That would, I mean, it's the hand-me-down tradition there. One person has it, and then they don't, and then I have it. Hey, you. Rippity bop break. Hey, I'm coming for the gin. Okay, goodbye. Ice is food? You would consider ice food? Is this what they teach you? Ew. Ice is not food. Ice is frozen water. Your young mind's being corrupted. No, really. It really is. Hi. Hi. How you doing? Hello, David boy. I'm going to riot. I'm gonna riot about this chain. This chain doesn't know what the hell's going on. Somebody's running like right behind me. That's kind of funny. I love when that happens. I'm sorry, you just literally happen to be everywhere that I am. And everywhere I am leads to a hook. Yeah. Yup. Yup. We'll do the little brimstone thing. Yup. And we'll break all the doors, get all this destruction points. Decruction points, hello. Yes, it is I. A person with no knowledge of how people talk. Hey, Jonathan! I do want to get the Jonathan skin. Because, I mean, like, come on. How can you not? Oh, I've been smacked! You know what? That's fair enough. I thought he went down. No, we were so close. But we were not actually. We're just gonna leave him alone. Jonathan's been through enough. Hey, Fang. Hey. Oh, she went upstairs. Hello. We're not doing terribly, to be honest. No! She broke free! Why is treated as food? I don't treat it as food. And I am, as you know, the utmost reliable person when it comes to food and its qualifications. I don't know why bip is our word for downing somebody. You been You don't been bipped. Jeez, I'm sorry for that. Hey. Hey. You. Jonathan. Jonathan, we're not the biggest fan of you. Not like you as a player, just you as a character. Jonathan is the definition of nice guy, but like the really bad nice guy. Where the fuck did they go? Annie, please stop climbing under my monitor. You're literally shaking my entire desk. Okay, you know what? That's my bad. Oh. You know what? Our brain is not functioning 100%. Go, girl. Go, girl. Shit. Oh, guys. She's clowning on us. Oh. We're going to. We're going down. We're committed. Shit, this is intense. Girl, you are my hero. You are my hero. I hate. They can go. They can just leave. I'm embarrassed. Oh no, guys. I noticed as soon as I clicked Spurs. Yeah, that we're looking for Hatch. We've accepted defeat. Oh God. Okay. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Oh. They're just sitting there. They're probably like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I don't know. I literally don't even know. 3 people gone. Where the hell is this hatch? Please stay. No. Really wanted to get that. Chop. I was making it into full the killer YouTube video now. I really hope so. That was probably one of the dumbest things I've done today. And I do a lot of dumb things in a day. Yeah, no, it's... I'm with them on that one. I don't even know what the fuck I did there. Like, his reach too is getting me. Like, I expect it to be so much longer. We're just gonna go into another game. It never happened. Oh God. It's okay. It is okay. This is me consoling myself right now. It's like, you don't need to cry. You only got clowned on about as hard as you can. I do just need to kill like 2 more people though, so that's pretty cool. Annie, what are you doing? Okay, do you guys want to see what she's doing now? She is This is under my monitor. She is literally... Okay. Look at those eyes. She's glaring. You see that? I don't know what she's looking at. Maybe Echo? My cats are an enigma sometimes. Oh, man. Gosh dang. No, that last match. Oh. I gotta go take a bathroom break. Maybe I just need to get up and walk around. Hello, Yoshi. You know what? We'll give Annie treats as well. We'll give her some treats and then go to the bathroom. Annie. Ow. Come on. Man. Yeah, all the cats. Echo just wanted to lick it, and then she licked it all the way onto the ground. And as you can see, Annie does not waste any time. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta take a bathroom break and recover from how bad I goofed that last match. Enjoy the cats. All right. Anyways, how's your night going, Yoshi? Uglyator. This is what this person is called. I like that. That's some good stuff. And you know what's also good stuff? They got a bunch of items, and you know what I got? Fracklins. Fracklin. All right, me and my unfunctioning brain cells are ready to play. Oh my god, literally everybody's bringing something. This is not allowed. Cats. Jump. Jump. Not fighting each other. Oh, also, I don't know if you can see, but there's a trumpet right there. And the cats are rubbing their faces all over it all the time. And I keep waiting for it to like fall over. So we'll see. If you hear a loud clang, I'll update you guys. Yeah, well, if there's anybody new that just got here, hope your night's going well. If you did anything fun for Labor Day, let me know. I want to know if there's any fun things going on. People do fun things for Labor Day. I live by a big lake, like a really popular lake in my state, and people go there and boat on Labor Day and like grill and stuff. So some of my friends were doing that. I, however, was working, but it's okay. I got time and a half. So my paycheck gonna be looking nice. I hope. Oh man. But we'll see Thursday. Also, you guys playing any fun games? And if you got any like suggestions on like games to play on stream, like let me know. I'm always looking for some fun new games. I try to plan out each month what I'm going to play and like what the plan is going to be for that month. But if there's something that just looks so freaking cool that I can't wait, I'll play. Why not? You know? Also, sometime before Halloween, I'm gonna make a little video of us having our cats try on Halloween costumes, because I think that would be so fucking cute. Because I'm trying to make more video stuff because it's fun and it's like a little something extra to do that, like, once I have it done, I'm like, look at this thing I made. All right, we're back to redeem ourselves. Oh my gosh. Yikes. Oh. Well, ha. Nancy. What if this is the same Nancy? Wouldn't that be something? Like, we just get the same people. Hey, girl. I'm just holding my hand out. All right, we gotta use our ability. Let's use our ability. Because this is taking too damn long. Oh my lord. Oh my lord, guys. This chase is lasting about 3.5 business days. Plus packaging time. Holy hell. Girl, you need to knock it off. Hey, no, 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 no. Come back here. We're backing up. Okay. I was like... We're going to this hook. I don't like what you guys are looking at me. Like, don't look at me. I don't want to be perceived. But also, do perceive? This is a question. What just happened? Hey, Kate. Hey, Kate. My girl. My cowboy wearing hat. Cowgirl wearing hat. Cowgirl. That sentence was all of the mess. Literally all of it. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. You know what? That's about what I expected. God, pallet gone. I should have just kicked it and kept running. Honestly. Hello? I didn't actually damage it. We gotta wait for the soda can sound. Hey, girly. Please come back out so I can damage you with my chains, because I need to kill 2 people, and this would be a good time to kill 2 people. Thanks. Hashtag speaking from the heart. Okay. We got her. Lori, I designate you as the person we're gonna get. Also, because you have a flashlight, and I don't like that. Flashlights are forbidden. Hi, Fang. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that. What? You can go over pallets with that? I did not know that. Whoa. I have the box. I can see everybody. I should have just gone all the way. I should have just gone all the way. These gotta be so freaking annoying. Like, I can imagine. Soda can sound. We are good. Whew. Getting up and walking around, really. It's like, sheesh. You summoned me. Ooh, I thought she teleported. I was like, oh my god. All the way across the map? No, sometimes people just teleport so freaking far when you hit them. Thank you. Okay, let's go over here. All the gens are over here. Apparently all the people are also over here. Yeah, we're gonna get her. Oh, she went in. I should have done what I was gonna do originally. Rory? What the hell? Okay. I have a lot of confusion on what just happened there. Ah. You. Ah, the dead hard. Oh, everybody's down. Heck yeah. It's okay. I'm not gonna be a butthead. Not gonna be a big stinker, one might say. I barely hooked anybody, so I mean, it is what it is. Even if I should be a big stinker. You, picking you up. What? She still had DS. Honestly. This Nancy. She's like, well, what's her name from the other match? Damn, they're really... These chains! I'm surprised she still had a DS, though. And on the hook we go. Little accidental harmonizing. All right, everybody, screaming harmony now. There's only one gen left. Oh my god. I bet you they're over on the other side. Like, they're absolutely over there. I lied. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is all. Nancy. Nancerino. Hey, haha, we got you. No pallets over here. Oh, that was perfect timing on that. Oh, she's dead? Oh, shit. They're taking a while on that cube. There's 2 gens over here. Now we just gotta look for the other people. I feel like we got a pretty good hold on what's going on now with 1 person down. No, Pinhead is... About every noise notification you can get is triggered. Like, every noise notification possible goes off while you're playing Pinhead, and it's a lot. I'll just go through here. It doesn't make sense not to do this. It's the end of the game. Especially with his music being so fucking loud. There you are. I'm gonna go after you because I don't want to tunnel. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. All right. I just need to get one more person. That's why I'm a little more focused in than usual. Can I go through? No, I can't. Damn. Too bad you used pallet already. Yep. I think we're good to get her. Yeah, we're good. I was worried about that. What the hell? Okay. I was like, that should have got her. Oh. Got rid of 4 lit hexes in the first minute of the last match. Look at you go. Ah. I love how her scream just stops. Lori. Hey, you. Are you kidding? The one I really hate how freaking he can't hit anybody unless they're standing on his toes. That's the one thing I hate about Pinhead. Like it's so dumb. Okay, that was my bad. That was dumb on my part. Why is she going back here? Okay. Where'd Lori go? Okay. All right, it's just gonna be one of those things. Let's go to the door. No, no, no. Right in front of the hook? I have to be right on them. Lunging is not allowed. Oh my god. That's the one thing I hate. They don't lunge forward, and literally every single killer in the game lunges forward on their attack. Every single killer. You popped one, and then soon the rest followed. I gotcha. Nope. Get down. Yep. Sorry, I gotta. I gotta do it. No, I love the grabs. What are we doing over here? We're injured. That's not the best move. Why? You had a door open. Girl, you could have left. I am flabber. Oh, maybe because the hatch was over here. That could have been it. I don't know. It's always the in-game stuff that really gets people. And we finished our challenge finally after like 3,000 years. Oh my god. Okay, let's go. That was... I don't know. All right, well, let's just keep leveling them up. It's just kind of a chill little killer night tonight. Ooh, Franklin's too. Don't mind if I do. The only goal is to get him up to level 40. I guess we can level him up all the way to 50 if we really wanted. Ooh, barbecue. That would be interesting. Shoot, almost. Let's go. No, let's not go. We need to select a new challenge. Almost to level 3. The new one comes out in 7 days. Hit a survivor with your weapon 25 times. We can do that. We can do that. And where are we at in the rift? 4 out of 9. Barely halfway through. Oh my god, we still have so much to do. All right. It's not impossible. We also have a little bit to actually like do that stuff. Okay. Let's ready up. Heck yeah. Man. It's going all right. I can definitely say we've had worse times with playing a killer for the first time. Oh, you see that? He went, yeah. Man, I don't, my allergies are like getting to me a little bit, and like my eyes are getting kind of dry, so they itch, and I cannot not itch them. It's real bad. Especially since we've had our windows open more, because our AC's been broken, so we've opened the windows at night and it's become more of an issue. Ugh. Do you enjoy my slightly red eye? Gosh dang. Womp. There. We'll just do a little spin. Man. I need somebody to steamroll me out, you know? Like, just kind of take a big steamrolling machine and just like... Or have you seen that video? Oh my god, here, I gotta show you guys a video. It's terrible. There's a lot more results for this than I thought there would be. I'm trying to look at it. I am getting... If anybody looks at my search history at these, it's going to be a weird... Like, not bad, but they're like, what the hell are you even looking for? Like, why? I'll just... Here. No. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. Shit. We'll just go back to this screen. If I find it, I'll put it up. Oh, the Cenobite with such sites see the playing against him will occasionally cause a disconnection from host error. The team is looking into this and will share more information when we have it. 7 hours ago it was posted. Huh. No, I don't know where it is. Oh, well. It is going to be basically impossible for me to find. What? We do have Franklin's. Ooh. The second in the series of Franklin's. I guess the trilogy of Franklin's, since there's 3. And it's got the glitch where it's not showing. It's got my card in the little bottom corner. And a yawn just for good measure. All right. These cats. This time, I feel like we got an okay grasp on Mr. Pinhead. I feel like we got it. It also helps that we've been playing him for 3 hours, give or take. There's some time in there where we may or may not have been playing him. Man. Maybe I should have just got more coffee before stream, you know? Maybe that would have woken me up. Awoken me. All right. Voiceless Pinhead. Here we go. We tend to be getting a lot of the same maps. Little Mother's Dwelling. Hey! I've come to smack you with my chains. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead. Shit. Well, that was not what I wanted. Did you go upstairs? Where the hell did you go? Okay. Maybe this is one of those clown on me matches. No. We just started. Steve! No, Steve. One smack. Here we go. You got lots of chains to break from, Steve, my boy. We're just going all the way. We're going all the way. I don't want to go over there. This is it, Steve. That was... The fact that he doesn't lunge, just like, I hate it. I hate it. Y'all. We're just gonna leave. It's just something that like every single killer does. So him not doing it just like it aggravates me a little bit, you know? A little aggravating. Hey, Jakey Poo. He just kind of like slowly like steps forward and he's like, I will swing lightly. And that's it. I waited too long. Yeah, like that would have hit normally. Well, at least I know what to do because I know what to do against him. I don't know if I'll be able to execute it very well, but okay, chill. You don't need to be pushing me into logs, mister. Also, these lights changed. They didn't flicker as much before when they were done. That's different. Why are they changing the light flickeringness? Suspicious. Still working on this? No. Oh shit, the main. Too late. Immediately as I thought of it, done. All right, let's go get some of our friends over here. Hey. Mom says I can play with you guys. You gotta let me. Steve, I want you. Steve, come back. You're my boy. I hate you. Jakey Poo. Steve. We're leaving Jake on the ground because I want to. Is this? Gosh dang. All right, we'll go back. One hook this game. It's really something else. Ooh. What are we doing? Yeah, there we go. Item's gone. Okay, now we'll hook him. I'm sorry, Jake. We're really behind on our hooks right now. I will hook you by the totem that you need. Let's go grab your friend. Where's that gal at? Oh, I see. I wanted to go around the tree. That's not something that I did. Not on purpose, that's for sure. Okay. Hello? Hello? Somebody was over here. Nope, not in there. Oh, hello. Yes, please. Open the box. Gotcha. That's that obliviousness. Obliviousness. Strange. I don't know why it did it. Like, I turned it to the left and then it went right. And I didn't do that. Where are you going? Like, where are we running off to? Hey, girl. I think the problem in this game is I'm not using my ability as much as I should be. Like, I'm just kind of... It's just kind of... Sometimes I'll use it, but, like, it's not consistent. Hey, girl. I've come back to mess you up. Yeah! Hello? Hi, Koodles. How's your night? We're getting people. We're chaining them up. It's a real good time. Oh, why are you going this way? Why are you going this way? Oh, we just need to hit people. That's all we need to do. How's your night going, Koodles? How was stream? Did you get really far? Did you finish the game all in one stream? That's really impressive. No. Just edging yourself with tacos. You might get an infection that way. I would recommend just doing it normally, you know, but do you. No, we were so close. We tried to get fancy with it. I'm listening, Koodles. I'm listening. Oh. They're opening the box. It's a little frustrating. Oh, we got this. We got this. Our pal Jakerino, Mick Jakerton. Yeah. There's somebody running over here. Ooh. It's Steve. Hey, Steve, my boy. I appreciate what he's trying to do. He was trying to save his friend. What a pal. Tacos aren't touched on PP. Thank you for the clarification. Very valuable information. Send it to the higher ups. They'll be very pleased with your findings. All right. Oh, Steve, no. Steve, no. Beat the monster known as the food handler's training. Nice. Now you can handle and train food. You are the food master. Oh my gosh. You do you, Koodles. I hope your tacos are handling themselves. Tacos do sound pretty good right now. Oh, it's every 3 years you gotta do it? Huh. The more you know. Tacos, right? I'm not just making shit up. I mean, I am just making shit up, but... Hi. I am sorry. Hi. I'm being a little mean here, but all your gens are like lined up. Yes, I want you. Oh. Hello? Okay. And if you don't get the card is harder to get. You just got the certificate. So you're making it harder on yourself. Why would you do that? I'm just kidding. Does it cost more? Like, do you have to pay to do this? Because if so, that's... Oh, sucks. You. I'm making my way downtown. Walking fast. Faces are passing. I'm homebound. Steve. What the hell? What the hell, Steve? Dodged me like a champ. Dodged me like a champ. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. Let's go back to these gens. Steve can do whatever. You're next! Cheryl. I guess this one isn't Cheryl, but... I know, yeah, it is. That hook is down. We're not gonna make it over there. Fuck, dude. This was a bad idea. Oh, we made it! Shit. Look at us go. Oof. Well, what do? What are we celebrating? Now that you got your certificate? Yeah? I would be. That's not what I wanted to do. Steve. Steve. Yo. I hit you. Steve, me and you are fighting. Me and you. We got beef, boy. I'm a beef boy with you. Here we go. Up on the hill. You know. You know the drill now, Steve. One of us. One of us. Have fun. Enjoy yourself up there on the hook. I'll be down here checking generators. Damn, the one I didn't check. Hey, we got it. Chop. Hey, Steve's down. Hey. We're going through. Oh, we're risky. We're risky today. Okay, she's dead. They can't have gotten far. Or they can't have gone far. Can't have gotten far. Are these words that I should be using? Like, are these correct? Oh yeah. I'm just gonna hook. Easier. It is much easier this way. Ooh, she is dead. That is unfortunate. All right, let's look for the hatch. On the way to the door. Oh, we found it. GG's to Steve. GG's, dude. And we got our challenge done. Heck yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, let's see. My ear a little scritchety scratch. There is a cat hair in my headphones. Pizza time. I thought you said you want to know where to bring you food. You lying to me? What the hell, man? Not cool. Break 40 walls, pallets, or generators. No, it's taking too long. Noah just said no food for me. Shake my head. Well, I guess I'm gonna be hungry tonight too. Oh well, time to die. Okay, anyways. Let's level him up. I don't know what I was looking for there. I really don't. Let me guess. Pepperoni pizza. Pepperoni. Yeah. Got it right. I just using my brain. A thinking brain up here? It's useful for something. Finally. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We're so freaking deacon close. Maximum range gateway. You work 3 doubles this week. That's disgusting. I work 1 double this week. Saturday. We'll do the decrease the cooldown. I'm not looking forward to the double just because I don't want to be there that long. I don't know why I segmented my sentence so much there. Been making like 70 in the morning. Yeah. Only W like is a double cheese baby. Cheese baby. How many babies have you eaten, Koodles? And why are you eating them? Should have added a comma? Does that make them taste better? Double cheese. Abe. Abe. Now I'm concerned. Do I need to call somebody? What's this? Impaling wire. When a survivor uses the environment to break a chain, an additional chain will target them. Yeah. Yeah, what kind of cheese? Asking the real questions. Okay. I, for one, really like some good cheddar cheese, but I can also really go for like some mozzarella. Maybe some Swiss cheese too. Well, I think I know what I'm getting for food tonight. It's a surprise to you guys. Surprise you. Look at the cats. Oh shit, you can only see one of them. Well, there's Flash sleeping. Annie's sleeping very peacefully on Noah's desk. She's so cute. So cute. Well, now I'm just hungry, guys. Dang, you're making me hungry. Oh, by the way, I was gonna show Over the Garden Wall for those of you who don't know what it is. Tell the cats they're very cat-like. Hey guys, Ding says you're cat-like. They're sleeping, they didn't hear it. All right, I don't know where you watch this. Okay, here. This girl's name is My BF is 37. Hopefully she's also close in age. Some of you may have seen this already. But like, this is one of my favorite shows to watch this time of year. It's just so fucking good. I love it. And it's like kind of spooky, but also like an appropriate amount for September. This is one of the like teaser trailers. That's me. I'm that cat. Okay, anyways. It's really good. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Or, no, don't check it out. Wait for movie night next week, where we watch not a movie, but a show. Boom. That's the sound of me recommending to join the Discord. All right. Well, we've been doing pretty good with little Pinhead. We're getting the hang of him. Next thing you know, we're gonna be #1 Pinhead North America. Noah's Snapchatted me. Is he on his way home? No. He sent a picture of all the orders he has. Shaking my head. All right, we got gas. Let's go. Little Pinhead boy. And we already have people. You know what? That's fair enough. Wow. I hate that he doesn't lunge. You know? That's probably my... I'm gonna keep saying it. One of my least favorite things. Also, I don't know what that one sound was. Oh, don't do it. You don't have balanced landing. Rough time. Oh, we'll bring him right over here. There's a hook over here. Heck yeah. And there's a person right next to us. Yep. That's what I thought. Why did she get out so easily? Knock it off. Oh shit, the gin in there is almost done. Hey. That's not allowed. Hey. Don't put that there. That's against the law. Pinhead's law. Oh. Yeah, we're gonna get you, Leon! Yeah, we just gotta get right up on him. Thank you. Thank you for your help. Your assistance in this. Back over here, though. I'm going to use the same hook. We have two people kind of preoccupied, and everybody's injured. And we're actually gonna kick this, and we're actually gonna do this. And then we're actually gonna go out here. Actually, I've never been on a roller coaster. I've never been on live news before. Or no, it's apparently. Apparently, I've never been on live news before. We got overcharged. We're charging it extra. We're gonna break this. Shit, she's really getting all of the chains. Holy hell, dude. Damn. Yeah, we gotta get like right up on her because it cannot turn. Ooh. Who do you think you are? Yeah, because that one would not have got it. Dead hard. Shit, dude. Straight up clowning. Straight up clowning on us. And... oh, these blight hooks. No, not blight hooks. I keep calling them that. Well, what are they called? No. No, we're not gonna do that. Ooh. Ah, shit, dude. I want to go over there, but... this guy... oh. Oh, thank God. Okay, you're going to this hook over here. Thank you. And... womp. That's not who I wanted to go after, but that's who I did go after. I want to go after this guy. So many gens are almost done. Now this is... I feel like Pinhead works best when, like, people are kind of like... no, well, that's kind of stupid. I'm not going to say that. Like, he works best when they're injured. Of course he works best when they're injured. Everybody does. Every single killer works best when everybody's injured. Like, in situations like this. Like, injure them, then go after with chains. Then you're golden. Whoa. Whoa. What are we doing? God, we're slacking. That's what we're doing. She gonna go back through? She doesn't have the med kit anymore, that's for sure. And we can use our ability again. All right, she did get us there. And then she does that? Bro, you're confusing me so much. Why do you do the things you do? Two gens left. We're not doing bad on gens. I was just keeping them from doing them for a good while. Like, but they're like so close, each of them. It's not exactly the best position to be in. But it's manageable. Yeah, there she goes. Yep. Let's go around back. Go back in. Back out the front. Shit! There's only one gen they need. Chill! Chill, guys. I'm only one person. I got so many people to kill still. Yeah, over here. Yeah, go over here. See what she's trying to do, though. She got... Hey. Hey, buckaroo. Oh... Yeah, we got it. We're getting a sense for how long he can go. Okay. This isn't being worked on. I wonder if the other one is. Oh, all the gens are over there anyways. Oh, you found your totem. We can probably hook you and get you out of here. Oh, I just know they're on that gen. It's gonna be completed. Yep. Here we go. Oh no, they could have got it done. Like, I'm all for it for me. Like, bro, you could have done it. You could have. It's worth a shot. Sometimes they do that. Pizza's been consumed. Shit, I'm hungry. Where's my consumable goods? Okay, yep. Not the smartest thing I've done. Where are we going? It's basement, I guess. There's no basement. I think we can make it to this hook. Oh, come on. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we going? She's probably going to go to that one over there. Yeah, she is. I'm not going to make it. Yeah. Why are you running? Why are you running? Why can't I use my ability? What the fuck just happened? It happened again. Oh my god. This game. I bet it, like, as long as I get the stuff from it, but I don't, do I? No, I do. I don't level up, that's for sure. The game really did dump me. That's so dumb. Oh my god. This game is killing me. Ugh. Well, I mean, we got the stuff we wanted in the end. 36. I don't know if it's just a him thing or not, though. That's my problem. Well, I think with the game being the way it is, I think that might be my last one. I plan to play for longer, but I just don't want to keep getting disconnected after a game like that. So, in the meantime, it was a fun time. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. We're going to be live Thursday playing Phasmophobia, and we're going to be playing a short game right before we start up Phasmo. But yeah, come by for some spooky times. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. Do it, you won't. Yeah. Ah, man. Yeah, we also got socials if you're not following those. I post some stuff on there. Sometimes it's funny. Yeah, you'll never know unless you check it out. But yeah, I think that's about it. What else we got? Yeah, next week we start Life is Strange. True Colors. Anyways, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you Thursday.